Hi, my name's Chuck, and I've started this new channel, Chuck Tells All, because I'm very much concerned about the mayor's race going on in Phoenix right now. Early balloting started about 2 weeks ago, and the final election day will be August 30th, 2011. And there's one particular candidate that scares the heck out of me, and her name is Peggy Neely. She has several videos up on YouTube if you'd like to look at them. Her name, Peggy, P-E-G-G-Y-N-E-E-L-Y, just like it's spelled at the top of this video. But she is beholden to special interest while telling us that she is a grassroots candidate and that she represents the people. My first taste of how little she represents the people was 5.5 years ago, and some local developers had gotten together with Donald Trump's people and were going to put his name on a building in a neighborhood on East Camelback Road where it was not zoned. And the entire council voted for this special interest zoning, but the people got together and collected over 15,000 signatures, and myself and a couple other buddies collected about 300 of them. And with the overwhelming disapproval of the public, the council voted to rescind their approval of this building. And of course, the way the economy has gone now, the building would have either been standing there right now unfinished or virtually empty. The sticking point was that our petitions said we wanted a vote to rescind the approval, because at the time the petitions were drawn up, that was the only method we thought we had to stop the building. Only a couple weeks after the petitions were drawn up did we find out that the council could itself vote to rescind their prior approval, which was the right thing to do. And so petitions are already made, so they were done as they were. And we had a meeting December 5.5 years ago at the council, and they were all voting to rescind except for Peggy Neely. And Peggy Neely smugly sat up there with the tone of voice I'm about to repeat for you and said, well, the people asked for a vote on this project. I can't deny the people the vote they asked for. I have to side with the people and vote no on this. Now, I just sat there aghast as I heard her say that, because what she did was cast a vote for her lobbyist buddy Chuck Coughlin and his organization HighGround to lobby the public through the media for another several months to try and ramrod this project through. And the thing that was bad about it was going to be a 150-foot high building, which would have created a wall of that height just a few dozen feet behind some nice residential homes. And this was not zoned for things that massive, but this is just a taste of what Peggy Neely does, because she's in bed with this lobbyist named Chuck Coughlin of HighGround. Mr. Coughlin has been named the most influential and powerful lobbyist in Arizona several times. Our local political paper has voted him as the most influential political operative in Arizona 3 times. And I watched enough private eye shows when I was a kid, and you saw Paul Drake on Perry Mason. He had operatives, and I learned as a kid an operative is a person who gets things done without leaving behind enough evidence for anyone to be prosecuted. It's funny because I just met the city prosecutor of Phoenix out on the street a few days ago, and I asked him, is that pretty much spot on? And he said, yeah, that's pretty much it. So the second interest that Peggy Neely favors is the Krupnik Development Company, which built a project called City North in Phoenix, maybe 10 miles north of central Phoenix. And what this was an $83 million giveaway for building a parking garage. It's basically a subsidy of the city, a gift, it was finally ruled by the court, I believe, to this private developer as an incentive for them to build there. And that development also is probably half to 2/3 empty right now. Most of the major tenants in the mall that was part of the site pulled out because of the economy and everything. But the thing is, if you vote for Peggy Neely, it's a vote for Chuck Coughlin and his political group HighGround. HighGround has been in business for about 15 years with Mr. Coughlin as its head. You can find some videos of him on YouTube as well. You can find his website just by looking at the tags and seeing HighGround. And he's very proud of what he does, but he has claimed responsibility for most of the extra taxes that have been passed upon the people of Phoenix and Arizona over the last dozen years. We've had a 1-cent special tax to help balance our budget, and he claims that, I'm sure he's telling the truth, that he was responsible for helping get that passed. We had a temporary transit tax to build the freeways around, beltways around Phoenix, which was supposed to expire 6 years ago, and he claims being instrumental in getting that extended for another 20 years. We have a special healthcare district tax, which was not necessary, but because the public was conned, that got passed about 7 or 8 years ago. And I'm thinking that between all these things that Mr. Coughlin has done, he's probably erased about $1,000 of disposable income from my family. And the whole deal behind this is if you tax the people, then the businesses and special interest businesses don't have to get taxed. And this is where they go to hire Chuck Coughlin. They will give him tens, even maybe a few hundreds of thousands of dollars because it's in their interest to do that, to save millions. The point is the public is being conned. And Mr. Coughlin already controls the governor's office in Arizona. Our governor is literally his puppet on a string. And he's proud of the things he does, but you would be turning over the mayor's office to Mr. Coughlin and his operatives as well if you vote for Peggy Neely. So this is just to help you understand that Peggy Neely is the absolute worst candidate for mayor that you could choose. And all I can say after that is, if anybody thinks that she is the proper candidate for mayor of Phoenix, they should be locked up with our governor's son in the state mental institution, which I may post a further video on lately, but you can Google the term Jan Brewer insane son on your search engine and find out the truth behind that if you like. So long.